And so we get the conclusion of what could possibly be one of the best Dragon Ball arcs ever. So going into this chapter, I kind of had a little bitter taste because of the last, I just said chapter. So going into this episode, I kind of had a little bitter taste because on the last episode, we had Vegito on the freaking screen for like 0.5 seconds, and then out of nowhere you see Trunks with his Genki Dama sword and he's like slashing Zamasu like he was really training for this stuff. But honestly though, like I said in the previous video, I still kind of enjoyed the fact that Trunks was able to combine his strength with all the other people of his time and be able to take down Zamasu, or so we thought. Going into this episode, you think, okay, Zamasu's done, but then out of nowhere you just see him start coming back. Of course, I mean, it makes sense if you really think about it. Zamasu is technically a immortal being, so it would make sense that he would still revive after being slashed in half by Trunks and start trying to do what he basically started doing, where he was essentially trying to take over the whole universe by becoming justice and the universe itself. And so I knew just from watching the previous episode's preview that the King of All was eventually going to show up. So I figured, okay, he's trying to take over the universe. This is going to prompt the King of All to show up. But that wasn't the case. In fact, Goku had to use the same button that he was given by the King of All previously to summon him. And this was kind of a prediction that I and many had a long time ago, but I completely forgot that Goku even had this control in his hand the first time. We pretty much knew that Goku was gonna summon the King of All to kill an enemy. It's just that it kind of slipped my mind with all the Mafuba talk and stuff like that, especially with some of the spoilers that had been leaked that were saying that the Mafuba was going to be instrumental in saving the future. But this episode was honestly very freaking sad. I don't even know how to express how I feel about this episode. I think the episode ended on a good note, but I don't like the way things went. I was literally on the verge of crying, and this is like 30 minutes ago. So basically, when Goku summons the King of All, thinking, okay, the King of All is going to clean up the future and basically save Trunks and all the people of his timeline, the King of All basically destroys the whole planet. But before that, Zamasu basically obliterated every single human on that planet. His zero human extermination plan actually came to fruition. And I don't like how Trunks' timeline seems to be like a demo timeline. Like, let's just try stuff out in this timeline and mess everything up and let us know what our future could possibly be. You know what I mean? Why does Trunks' timeline have to take the brunt of every single explosion? I don't know, man. Like, every time I think of that little girl and her brother, man, they died, dude. They literally died. And I know there's going to be some people in the comment section below that are going to say, oh, well, in this episode, Whis explained that he could bring the future back to a time before Zamasu even existed, or before Zamasu became evil. But you have to think about it. Like, if you pay attention in this episode, they clearly say that they're going to go to the time of Trunks' future timeline before Zamasu did all the damage that he did, and basically tell Beerus to go take care of Zamasu. That world that they were fighting Zamasu in is not coming back. So essentially, they failed their mission because Trunks and Mai lost their world, and now they're going to have to go to another version of their timeline where they already exist. If you really think about it, Trunks' timeline literally has been through hell with the androids killing all the Z fighters there, and now the whole planet is literally gone. It is done for. I don't know what to say, because I mean, yeah, I'm happy that Trunks and Mai are alive and stuff like that, but they all failed their mission. They didn't really accomplish much, except for they took the fall for a possible future for all the other timelines. Trunks has consistently in his timeline just had to have crap happen to him first, only to save the main cast that we know. I don't know, man. I kind of wanted Trunks to stay in the present day timeline, but if not for Mai telling him that she wanted to be in a time when all the people she fought with were alive, I'm sure he would have stayed in the present day timeline. I mean, come on, he would have his dad and his mom rather than just his mom. I mean, it's not like it really makes a difference to him at this point. His real, like, direct mom is dead. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter which timeline he goes to. It's all of my decision. And so I guess in that aspect, I respect why he's deciding that he's going to, you know, go to the future and basically have two versions of him over there. I mean, if he had stayed in this timeline, it'd just be two versions of him over here and all the Z fighters alive, but whatever. But yeah, I don't know what to say about this episode. This episode, it was really good, but really disappointing and just kind of depressing, man. I don't know, dude. That's what I really liked about the whole Trunks arc. Like anything that's related to future Trunks is that it's just a darker side of DBZ or Dragon Ball in general that we're not really accustomed to. We're usually accustomed to all the Z fighters coming out on top and stuff like that, but in this timeline, no, it doesn't go like that. The Z fighters are freaking dead. And one thing I want to know is, what is that world going to do without their king of all? I mean, is anybody going to really talk about this? Because Goku literally took the king of the universe, of all universes, from Trunks' world and brought it into his present world. How does that make any sense? Can anybody elaborate on this? Because it's clearly a hole in the story that they're not going to address anytime soon, if not ever. And that makes no sense. You can't just do that. You can't just take someone that's literally the source of balance in the whole space-time continuum. Just take him out to play with the other. No. And you know, one thing I really thought, I figured since he's the king of all universes or whatever, I figured he'd be the king of all the timelines, because essentially if he's the king of all worlds, he should reign supreme over any limitation of time. So clearly he's limited, just as the other gods are. Yeah, he's the king of all the universes, but essentially he's limited to time and space just like everyone else. That's why there are two of him. I really felt like he should be like at a higher place, that he's not going to be affected by stuff like this. It makes no sense. And essentially if Goku hadn't have communicated with them, Zamasu would have taken over the whole universe. This dude has literally gone and killed gods. He's gone and taken people out, and nothing has been done about it. Okay, maybe I'm starting to get a little mad, but I mean, come on, think about it. He's supposed to be the king of all. What type of king doesn't even keep track of his own kingdom? That makes no sense at all. I don't know, man. You know how it is. They're probably going to introduce some dude that's above the king of all, like the king of time or some crap like that, or the king of space or some crap like that. I don't know. But all in all, besides those minor annoyances and disappointments, I did enjoy this episode. I love the way it ended, where Vegeta kind of looked at Trunks. You know how Vegeta is. He's not going to talk about his real feelings. It's not about that stuff. It's all about that manhood stuff. We're going to throw a punch, and that's just going to be all it takes to exchange my feelings with you, man. And when I saw Gohan with Piccolo, man, he was training the whole freaking time. Like, I can already see that ultimate Gohan just kind of resurfacing in Gohan right now. I'm tired of baby Gohan. I don't want that homework Gohan. I want that ultimate Gohan, that potential unleashed Gohan returning. Yeah, you know, when Trunks started crying, and he even said it himself that he failed to protect the future, like he told future Gohan that he was going to. Regardless though, it was a very heartfelt episode. I really enjoyed this episode despite the small holes all over the place. Tell me guys what you think in the comment section down below. What do you think about the way this arc ended? Do you think it ended the way it should have? Because I really do feel like this episode, or this arc, started off so strong, but as they just started adding more and more things to keep track of, they kind of lost their grip on this arc, and it just kind of got a little sloppy towards the end. But regardless though, I enjoyed this arc because I love Dragon Ball and I love Future Trunks, so I'm gonna deal with it. But yeah, make sure you drop a like on this video, subscribe for more anime related content. Peace out.